Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Tim Darty. I'm a enterprise account executive at Creatio, and I'm here with Sebastian Forgy from Solution Metrics on the line as well. So for the webinar today, we're going to focus on the 7 major CRM trends to accelerate digital transformation in the insurance industry. So that will be the main topic of discussion for today. We have some slides that we're going to go through, and then there'll be a couple sections of the presentation as well. We'll be asking for your feedback and a couple polls that we have, and then at the end we'll leave some time for question and answers. But really appreciate everyone's time today, and I think we'll dive in. And just from a agenda perspective, as I mentioned, just went through a quick intro on myself and Sebastian. Then we'll start with going into the 2021 global insurance industry outlook. We'll dive into the actual 7 major CRM trends that will help accelerate digital transformation in the insurance industry. And then we'll specifically go through Creatio's low-code CRM platform, and we'll end with questions and answers from the audience. So that'll be kind of the agenda we'll be working with today. I'll let Sebastian introduce himself to start.
Yes, hi everyone, I'm glad to be here. I'm the president and founder of Solution Metrics, a proud Creatio partner for a couple of years now. We've been working in the CRM industry for more than 10 years. And personally, I'm passionate by sales, marketing, customer engagement, customer success. That's always been my forte since I graduated as an engineer. So I'm coming from a technical background, but rapidly went into a more entrepreneurship venture. So super happy to be here today. A little more about Solution Metrics. So I said, the company started about 20 years ago. Did few things that were related to CRM, not only CRM at first. Since about 12 years, that's the only thing we're doing is CRM. The company is a little more than 50 employees. We have offices in Canada, US, and Mexico now. We have implemented over 200 customers, so 212, something like this. Done more than 400 projects in CRM as well. So we're all about CRM. We know the best practices. I think our services and our value is really around the best practices and be able to contribute to how to achieve your business objective and your overarching goals of CRM with the best practices and the tactics. So that's really what we're doing. So we're all about strategy and customer engagement strategy. You see today we're speaking about insurance and what we've done in that field. Presentation, but also user adoption and change management. That's things that we're competent in with time. So the CRM project and the technology piece of a project like this is very important. So is the change management and the user adoption. So those projects are transformative. So we support the business and the business in the implementation of those changes, not only on the technical side and the platform. So the sorry, perfect. To you, Tim.
Great. Yep, thanks, Sebastian. And as mentioned, my name is Tim Darty. I'm a sales executive at Creatio. I've been in the sales management and B2B enterprise software sales space for a little over 6 years now. So a lot of my focus during my time in the industry has been on business development, working with new customers, getting them learned up on the value of our solutions that we provide at Creatio, for example, as well as customer success. So ensuring that customers have a smooth process when dealing with the organizations I've worked for in the past. And then my specific areas of expertise have been around enterprise software sales, strategic sales, as well as low-code business process automation and CRM technologies. And we'll go in more detail during the presentation into some of the capabilities Creatio has specifically in those spaces. And just for some more background on Creatio as an organization, we are a global company. We're headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts in the United States, but we do have 5 offices around the globe. We also do have worldwide roughly 650 employees. We also have a vast partner network, including Solution Metrics, but we do have 700 plus partners worldwide, including consultants and system integrators that we work with, and we work in 110 countries as well. And as you can see, we've been recognized by some of the leading industry analysts, which we'll go into in a little more detail, including Gartner and Forrester, and that includes being named to 5 Gartner Magic Quadrants and 7 Forrester Waves. So certainly been acknowledged by some of those leading industry analysts in the space as well. And I think to start, we want to go a little bit deeper into just the outlook for the global insurance industry in 2021. So as you can see on the slide here, in terms of the outlook for the industry moving forward in 2021, North America is one of the largest regions from the insurance industry perspective, but the global insurance market is expected to grow from roughly 4,474.49 billion in 2020 to roughly 5,050.31 billion in 2021. So that's a compound annual growth rate of 12.9%. So in 2021, there's going to be expected significant growth in the industry as a whole. The growth in the industry is mainly due to companies rearranging their operations and recovering from the COVID-19 impact. This earlier led to restrictive containment measures involving things like social distancing, remote working, and the closure of commercial activities, which resulted in operational challenges within this insurance industry specifically. So the market is expected to reach by 2025 roughly 6,390.73 billion, a growth rate of roughly 6%. So not just in 2021, we expect significant growth in the industry, but moving through 2025, we expect that growth to continue at a very steady rate. And then just in terms of the market from a regional perspective, North America was the largest region in the global insurance market, accounting for roughly 34% of the market in 2020. And then as you can see on the right-hand side, Asia Pacific was the second largest region, accounting for about 31% of the global insurance market. And just to give you an order of magnitude as well, Eastern Europe was the smallest region in the global insurance market back in 2020. So we expect things to stay roughly the same in terms of which markets will be leading the industry.
Perfect. And now one of my favorite topic, and I'll be speaking about that today, is the digital transformation. So, and we'll see why companies today are investing so much in digital transformation. So first, a small number, $1.3 trillion, right? So that's a big amount of the investment globally that will be done into digital transformation. And the pandemic has just increased the pace of this investment. So 70% of the business have increased their pacing to this investment. So that's really a priority on most of our prospect and customer we're working with. They understand that this digital transformation will lead into more efficiency, better way to achieve their business goals, and at the end, my preferred topic, customer engagement, customer success, and customer retention. So we've seen, right, some news about how first we know the pandemic fastened the thing, but how so IT Portal was able to put a number on that. So we actually speed up things by 5.3 years. So that's the step we took during COVID. So the investment and the pace and that you're seeing in here comes from what will be expected before pandemic about 5.3 years ago. So we really fastened the pace about half a decade. So that's a very interesting number. So and that's the stock market knows it. So that's why it's going well like this. But we're still not out of the pandemic. So there's still some ripple effect that will occur. So first, on the insurance, there will still be some impact here and there of, like I said, the ripple effect of the pandemic. So there's few months ahead where Still, it's going to be a little rocky, but we're going out of that period very rapidly. So, and an investment, so something very important is during the pandemic, people had more time for various reasons. Unfortunately, yeah, or fortunately, they had more time to look into their insurance and things normally that they won't spend that much time in. So this will continue after the pandemic. So the people and our consumers, our customer will spend more time in understanding and learning about the product they're purchasing. So number two is they will still doing that even after the pandemic. So and that's why we've seen it, and we have many insurers we're working with. They want to step out of the commodity market. So insurance sometimes is perceived as a commodity. So I'm going to have 3 quotes from 3 different insurance provider. Whoever is the cheapest, or I'll take it. So they are putting together uh, strategy and tactics in order to step out of that mentality of being a commodity. And number 3, the digitalization of insurance will continue. So we've seen it. There's app, the fintech or insurtech are in, and that will not stop. It will just only be a trend that continues.
Great. Thanks, Sebastian. So I think what we want to do now is take a quick pause in the presentation slides and go into a quick poll question for the audience. So the question we have here is, how has the pandemic affected your organization today? So you have a few options you can choose from. So first, has it created more remote/home office working for your organization? Has it led to the acceleration of digitalization for your organization? Has it reduced demand within your company? Has it increased resilience and flexibility, or all of the above? So I think this is an interesting question. We'll be very interested to see which one comes out on top. I'll pause and give everyone a second here to click on which option aligns most with their organization, but this will be a very interesting one to take a look at. I'm not sure what will come out on top, but we'll give everyone a second here.
The challenge is only to select one. So
yeah, that is the big challenge. I think my guess is all of the above might be the pick, but I'll see what everyone says. But yeah, I agree. The challenge is really selecting only one of these. We'll give everyone another second here before we dive in. Perfect. Okay. Oh, very interesting. So more remote home office working got half the vote. So 50% went to more remote and home office working. 25%, which was my guess, went to all of the above. So I was off on that one. And then it looks like acceleration of digitalization and reduced demand were number 3 and 4. And then 0% of the people voted for increased resilience and flexibility. So interesting choice we have here. But yeah, I think we've seen through both of our organizations, remote work has definitely been something that's come up a lot, and then a lot of people have been dealing with all these issues. So there's definitely been significant effects from the pandemic for organizations. So interesting results on the poll.
Perfect. Thank you, Tim. So very interesting. So and we can relate to those as we speak today on the trends for the insurance. So let's start with why the pace is so fast, why the change are accelerating to create value. First, very important, you've seen the number that Tim presented, 12.9% increase in cars. So there's lots of investment that will, not investment, but lot of money is going to be spent on the market in insurance. We've seen new product that never existed before during the pandemic, and this will solicitate more and more consumer to invest into insurance. And so the company want to accelerate the change because
it's part of their strategy. So they're realigning the strategy with what we just discussed so far because of the pandemic that occurred. So post-pandemic, you need to realign, you need to redefine and refine the purpose and make sure you're aligning with where the market goes. So they want to accelerate that a lot. Second thing is, we talked about it, consumer, the way they purchase. So we knew that in the previous year, the buying cycle of consumer has transformed. It's just accelerated by 5 years or so in the past 18 months. So the transformation to be agile, to be more customer centric, to be more engaged, to be more uh, in line with what the customer is expecting for is very important. So an example will be working with an insurance right now, the claim process. So claim process used to be an administrative process. So now it's a customer-centric process. So they're coming from being process-driven to customer-centric driven. So through a CRM, the claim process has transformed, so the customer has visibility, etc. So they can see right away the impact of that. Third one is accelerating change in digital transformation also leads to more efficiency. Efficiency leads to more profitability, so you have more capitalization that you can reinvest into acquisition of leads and customer, and consumer. So that's an important piece into why company wants to accelerate. So there's really a run or going on. So prediction for 2021. We're already almost 5 months in, so we're seeing it from our customer and prospect right now. So first, they want to shift to digital channel. We talked a lot about the 360-degree profile, the omni-channel experience. So my customer might want to engage through sometimes social media, SMS, some via portal, web, phone. So multi-platform digital channel are going forward, and they are more and more easy to use and implement on our side. So automation and machine learning. So we'll see in some number about the investment, but very important topic. So machine learning, how it can help you. And what I like about the machine learning, we'll see a little more, it has become something easier to implement. So you don't need data scientists and a big project in order to have machine learning working for you. Second thing is, it's still, we talked about it a little, the ripple effect. So the market condition will be a little difficult in acquisition, but there's lots of cash and money on the market as well. So there's still some condition that will be, but it's opening right now, and so we can get through those hard conditions pretty rapidly in the next few months. So data-driven insurance. So we're seeing new product coming into live right now, and they're really data-driven, meaning that it's a product that correspond to policies that correspond to the consumer based on what they're looking for, based on what they ask for, based on the interaction that they have with their insurance provider. So it's a data-driven insurance. There's new product coming. There's new way to respond. There's new engagement that comes from data-driven approaches and initiatives. The need for local development. So we're going to speak a little more about what's local and how we can benefit an insurance provider, an insurance company, or even an insurance broker. But that's the ability to rapidly put forward some initiatives without going through a big development lifecycle. Tailored product, fairer premium, more aggressive, more personalized, more engaged. So that's what is going on since beginning of 2021.
Great. Thanks,
yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So yeah, I think next we have another poll question. We'll keep things interactive. So for the next poll question, which of the following is the most challenging prediction for 2021? First, shift to digital channels. Second, emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, low code as well. The third possible response, data-driven insurance, as Sebastian mentioned. And then fourth, tailored products, fairer premiums. or fifth, all of the above. So I think, as Sebastian mentioned with the last poll question, the toughest one is just to choose one option. So we'll give everyone a minute here to select an option. I don't know, Sebastian, do you have any guesses on which of these are going to come out on top?
Most challenging. I believe I would say the third one, because it needs to be data-driven insurance. It needs some premises that could be a little or challenging to implement.
Yep. No, I think that's a good one. I think that's what I'm leaning towards as well in terms of the most challenging prediction for 2021. But we'll see what everyone says here.
Because and just to say, they have lots of data and data points, but not lot of information. So you see, it's transforming the data into data-driven is difficult. But you see the result. That's well, what I wasn't stating with AI, but it's because people don't know it became easy. So it's not that challenging anymore. So that's a goal of today's webinar. So
perfect. And I mean, you were technically right. There's a tie for first between data-driven insurance and then emerging technologies. So Sebastian, I'll give you the credit there. You were technically right on what came in first. So you guys can see here the results. This time, everyone at least got one vote, but looks like the top two were data-driven insurance, emerging technologies, then all of the above, and then shift to digital channels and tailor products and fairer premiums were tied for last. So interesting poll results here. This one was a lot closer than the last one, where there's one answer that had half the vote. So interesting.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. And then I'll pass it over to Sebastian. We'll go through now. We'll dive into the main topic for discussion today, the 7 major CRM trends to accelerate digital transformation. So I'll pass it over to Sebastian to go through those.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Just change slide here. Perfect. So CRM, customer relationship management, very, very important. It consolidated in since the pandemic. It's very important. It's at the heart of most of the strategy and the tactic moving forward. So now what helped the CRM being more easy and strategic to embrace by company is cloud is one of the option that makes it easy. So 87% of the deployment during the pandemic were cloud. So we're going away from the on-prem installation premises and ways of working. It's way more easier to be on the cloud. We'll speak today about how do you make sure that you're according to the regulation, the data privacy, cybersecurity, etc. So we'll discuss that. But the cloud now, the cloud provider, and we're happy about that, are now supporting those regulations. But cloud is definitely one of the strategy that company goes for. Now, they also, since it's easier, we talk about low-code AI, stuff like this, the direct impact of good CRM is customer retention. And we know it in the insurance, it's very important. Churn rate is the number or one of the top KPI that CFO, CSO, CMO, everyone's looking at, the churn rate. So customer retention, it improved the customer retention by 85%. Now it was about 25, now it increased to 85 during pandemic. So that's really good. And we always know it that properly implemented CRM, that's a little art. That's what we do. So I'll be humble and won't speak about it, but it's very important. When it's well implemented, there's about 45 cents for every dollar that you invest in your project. So very, very, very important that it's well done, but it's becoming strategic. So meaning that there's some tactics that you cannot put forward if you don't have a CRM well configured in place, and adding the fact that it's easier to deploy in the cloud, it makes the whole thing more easier and more strategic. So that's why now it's at the heart of every strategy. So let's talk about the trends now. So number one, and it came also as one of the most challenging, but it's not that challenging anymore. So the AI capability. So we know customers are looking for more experience and more personalized experience. So how do AI help on this? So first, I'm going to take a few seconds to speak about how you implement AI. That's what we do in implementation. For a long time, you needed data scientists and having big data lake, and so good news is not like this anymore. So the cloud brought cloud capabilities brought to CRM some AI capabilities, even if you don't have a large data set. So there's some public data that AI engine learns from, and then confidentially they're looking at your data. So the learning and the data is two things. So once they learn, the cloud provider, the software provider like Creatio, all that learning comes with the CRM. So you don't need to have millions and millions of record in order to be accurate. So we can implement AI and have some AI initiatives that will, for example, recommend what should be the next big step with this customer, what should be the best product, even automated. So we're seeing a lot of chatbots and proactive initiatives that are AI driven, by the way, which are right 97% of the time, and will drive a customer-centric strategy. So that's very, very important. To be more customer-centric, AI can help you a lot. So, and what the AI will do, it will drive some automation as well. So we're going to speak a little more about customer onboarding, which is super important in insurance, because the first 2-3 months, if they have a good experience, the churn rate is slashed dramatically. So how AI can help, for example, in the customer onboarding by saying welcome after, if they have not used your product or services during the first 6 weeks, send an email, say, hey, we didn't use a product. So really tailored experience for customer, very, very important. Now, AI, all the automation, the strategy, the tactics that will be deployed, that's another small number. It's $2.9 trillion in 2021. That's a big investment. So we said it, there's a lot of cash in the market. There's a lot of liquidity, so there's not shortage of that. So there's a lot of people that will either do an OPEX or CAPEX investment into their AI initiative. So that's why this number is fairly big, $2.9 trillion. So, and executives say that, so that's the third stats, but they say that because two things. So companies and consumer of AI will invest 2.9 trillion, but part of the investment is also the people who provide the AI capabilities to consumers. So the Creatios of this world and the IBM Watson and the Google AI engine, they are also investing a lot to make it more easy to implement, embrace, install, leverage. So that's also part of the picture in 2021. This will only make it easy for us to leverage those functionality to, for example, be more customer centric. So that's definitely one big trend. So number two trend, we love this one. We're CRM guys. So it's the next gen CRM. So what next gen mean is, unfortunately, for a long time, fortunately, CRM was more a place where you will input the information. So at the end of the week or at the end of the month, we can extract reports so we know where things are. So that's the previous gen CRM. Now this current or next gen CRM is different. CRM is a tool that helps you sell better, be more engaged, helps you recommend what should be the best approach, help you be more efficient so you can actually do more sales, understand your customer buying cycle and match that with your sales cycle so you're really relevant in the engagement and the sales process. So people that leverage those types of functionality are saving 4 times their sorry, but they saving they spend less time by 4 into clerical work. So actually their CRM helped them into being more efficient. So and even I would like this number. So we're looking at the 81% are more likely to use constant CRM. So 100% of people should be practicing more constant usage of CRM. It's not the case, unfortunately, but we've seen that number be lower, meaning that you're not only using CRM to extract report or to input information, but that becomes your tool. That's become your way of being more productive. That's become, for example, we're going to talk about mobiles and a lot of things that CRM can do. And a local platform like Creatio can help you be so much more efficient. So, and so much more with AI be insightful about what's the customer about, what's the prospects about, what they are, et cetera, et cetera. So it really push companies to, and in fact, to be more likely to a constant usage by 2 things. First, it's the user adoption is easier because it's easy to use. So that makes it easy as well. And we've talked about lots of automation, and so a stat by McKinsey which says that when you're using those type of automation that support your next gen CRM, you're likely to send 10% more. So you have an upsell of about uplift of 10% in your sales. So that's an important number. So if you don't have some next gen CRM, you don't have to change that much things into your sales process, sales documentation, sales approach. How you productize or you package your product. You just have to have a next gen CRM, and your sales will increase by 10%. So that's another way to see it. So social media integration. Again, pandemic accelerated that by 5 years as well. So very nice things that were actually in 2019, 2020 were around, and we saw some strategy around social media, but that just accelerated as well. So the integration with the social media is now and CRM and social media is now a table stake. So for a long time, you were using other software to manage your social media, and at some point, sometime, it will go either manually or some asynchronous integration that are delayed into your CRM. This is not the case anymore. Your customer and prospect relationship management start at the social media stage. That's a very important piece of the engagement. So the digital sales itself that emanates from social media and social presence and digital presence increase from 14 to 18%, and that will stay. That will stay. It's not that, in fact, it will not stay. It will increase. So that will increase as well. So it means, and the digital sales is, I don't engage in a traditional way with the provider or the company I'm buying from. I'm doing everything online. So social media, chat, transaction, everything happen in the digital way. So that's why we talked about next gen CRM, AI, and so the digital customer engagement is very, very important. And then that's why we're proud to do this webinar with Creatio, because I'm personally certified on multiple platforms, including Microsoft Dynamics, Salesforce, and others. And this is definitely the best platform to actually articulate a strategy around that. It's a fantastic platform. So the number of social media is actually increasing to 4.14 billion. And the customer retention is increasing by 27% when you have a digital social engagement relationship going on. So they call it, once your customer interact with you through social media, they call it social CRM. So you're actually managing your customer relationship through social media like Messenger and others. So that's an important piece as well. And we've seen today there was a launch of the new software policy of iPhone where there's more privacy. So I'm working in technology. I'm happy about this. I'm happy about this because it's an opportunity, and that's part of the social media integration. So because for example, Facebook is really not happy about this new privacy law that Apple put forward. I'm personally super happy about it because this will give the chance of people who are doing things and initiative through social media and digital engagement in a more fair way to collect the information than acquiring to third party the information and do some marketing around it. I think it's a good thing, and I think this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity, especially in insurance. This is an opportunity because you can put some initiative forward that will put you away from being perceived as a commodity. So that's really good news from Apple. So the other one, cloud foundation. So we talked about it a little. So cloud is very, very important. We said so. And what happened in those days is the cloud is becoming. It was first a way to host software. So that was what was the cloud about a couple of years ago. So say, oh, I'm not going to host or install my software on my server. I will go on the cloud. So I have my DevOps, so backups, being up and live 24/7, 99.999% of the uptime, stuff like this. So the cloud was at first a good way to host software, to install software on server that are managed by Google or Microsoft or Amazon. Now, this premise has changed. For sure, it's a reliable hosting platform. But those cloud providers now provide as well feature and functionality. So for example, Google AI or even Amazon. Amazon, the way you can optimize software, you can leverage their AI, their prediction, so there's a lot of things that they're providing as well. So those, not only when they're talking about hosting, but when you're actually seeing the value. So for example, let's talk about the AWS, the AI platform that they give you. So we know a little of Alexa, maybe. So the Amazon, Alexa, they're one of their the platform of Amazon. You can leverage the same intelligence of Alexa when you're hosting on AWS. So you see, this is the example where it's not just only hosting, it's also value provided by the cloud provider. So that's why 87% of enterprise going now on the cloud. Now, some will have an hybrid strategy. So for example, you have a multi-cloud approach, but moving to the cloud is now becoming more than just an hosting question. And we'll talk a little later about the privacy and cybersecurity around that. And and it's predicted that 90% of everything that computation needs to be done will be done through cloud within the next 5 years. So cloud is there. It will be at some point 100%. We're into the last, wave of people going to the cloud. So and the cloud offering is amazing, and is amazing in a couple of ways. First, the cost is really affordable. Second is they're more secure, they're more easy to manage, and it's more easy to implement as well. So that's a good thing. So that's for cloud. So number 5, data privacy, a big concern. So for that, so first, for sure, more than half people are concerned about the different, compliance, the regulation, third-party cyber risk, where my data will go in. So that's a big one as well. Good thing is we talked about the cloud provider. Security could be a 5-hour webinar on just the security, the different notion of the security, the data governance, the master data management. And legally, it's working depending on different jurisdiction. So that's a very complex topic, but all to say that it became easier, not easier, but the tools to ensure data governance are now very easy to embrace in 2021. This is a normal evolution of the cloud, since the data spread a little, right? So people don't have it in their office anymore. It's to the cloud. So the regulation, the security data is easier than ever. So even if people are worried about it, and it's good that they're worried because it forced the cloud provider to actually develop and offer more security around the data. But that's a good thing. Now, on average, and that's a very sad stat. On average, only 5% of companies' folder are properly protected. So I don't want to go into too much detail about security, but you have the IT security policy, but you also have your HR IT security policy. So I think the cloud provider and CRM initiatives, platform like Creatio, enable both to make sure they're part of the privacy. And remote work has increased the average cost of data breach by $130,007. So that's an IBM stat. So people are worried because working from home, remote work, I will have access to my data on potentially my personal computer. So how do we manage this? So that's a big concern. Good news, there's a lot of tactics in order. So cloud is one. Creatio has a lot of tools in terms of data governance. So who access the data, who's seen the data. So we're working right now on a project where actually the exchange of data is going to a blockchain. So actually the transaction of exchanging the data has a, I want to go into too much detail of blockchain, but a public ledger. So you know exactly who accessed the data, when, why, how, what they've done with it. Did they extract it? Did they export it? Did they? So there's lots of things that are easier to put forward now in order to address the concern of data privacy and security. So mobile CRM, that's another fun trend. So we talked about being more efficient. So definitely mobile CRM is a big trend. My friends in insurance who are doing broker sales and visiting brokers and portfolio manager and wealth managers are super happy about mobile CRM. So I can see all the information from CRM in a very accommodating way for either an iPad or a smartphone or tablet. So mobile CRM is first a platform like Creatio makes it easy to do, to personalize and make it relevant, easy. So we have things like dictation. So we don't actually write notes anymore. We dictate the notes into mobile applications, so stuff like this. And that's a very, very interesting features. So people using mobile CRM, 65% achieve theirs or more achieve sales quota. So you have 65% more chances to achieve your sales quota if you do have a mobile CRM in place. And when you don't have, then that type of CRM mobile strategy and CRM goals, 22% only achieve those numbers. So and also the thing is, I can speak about how we do forecast and we predict the increase of sales. So I've seen lots of people say, okay, last year we did X amount, so let's try to do, and then 4% growth or 12% growth. So that's a good way, because I'm an entrepreneur that believes that you set a goal and then you need to put everything in order to reach that goal. But also when you actually go into how we're going to achieve that goal, this is where mobile CRM comes. And this is mobile CRM strategies come forward as well. So mobile CRM, so half of the sales team increase their productivity. So for example, I'm in front of a customer or a broker, and I'm saying, okay, Mr. Broker, so here's what we've done together since a year. So I'm actually my CRM, click, send them an email or show them the report. So I don't have to compile tons of information. The CRM does it for me on my mobile, so I can, with my, for example, broker, look at what we've done together. So last but not the least of the trends is the low-code technology. So before I go into the different statistics, and the trends itself, so what is low-code? So when the word code is in something in technology, people start to say, okay, code, I'm not a coder, I'm not. So low code is the opposite of code. So for those who are using a CRM, seen that first and foremost, most of the work in CRM sometimes doesn't require even low code or coding. It's only configurations. For example, creating fields, customizing my reports, my dashboard, my data, my BI that I want to look at. So that's configuration. Now, sometimes you have complex workflows. So I was talking about the claims, for example. So we're working, and I can say it, we have with Blue Crosses. So some of the Blue Crosses, we've done their claim process. Claim process is a little more than just configuration, but the claim process to be done in a claim system will take probably 1 or 2 years and cost millions of dollars. When you do it in a platform, local platform like Creatio, it's actually fasten the thing. So it's months, not years. The cost is a fraction, plus the benefits. One of the main benefits of the low code is you can go live with a version 1 and then do a version 2 right after, a couple months later, more functionality very rapidly. So you don't have to go into a full software development lifecycle of deployment, QA, and then you have 5 different environments, and it could be a complex package, Git, and so there's a lot of things that fasten the development lifecycle. So you actually don't go into a development lifecycle, you go into indicating the platform what to do, you test it, and then you release to production. So it shortened the cycle of putting forward new initiatives. So that's why 65%, so the first stat, are going towards a local development application. So they don't want to go into say, let's start with a development framework, and those frameworks are good. So Java, .NET, Python, etc. And let's hire some developers into creating those applications. So that will become, and it's starting to do so, but within the years, we come for very special things, application that are one of. For the most common things, it will go through a low code. So it's why? Because it's faster, easier to maintain as well, and less costly. So and 70%, and the 30% that makes it not 100%, I will speak with them, but organizations believe local platforms are more affordable than traditional software development. It's just not everyone knows what low code is, so that's why it's not 100%, but it's just a question of time. And the low code approach as well offer lots of opportunity to the business, because the traditional development lifecycle, going through a big project or project where you need lots of people and resources involved in order to complete it, first, two consequences. Not only it's costly, but it's the timing. We've talked about it. The investment, there's trillions of dollars being invested. So can you wait 18 months? No. Even if, let's say, the price is the same, which is not the case, it's a fraction when you're going to low code, but it's the pace of innovation. So everything is going faster. So you need that technology that is a rapid development approach or rapid personalization approach in order to articulate your strategy to tactic that you can deploy in a rapid way. So that's one of my preferred low-code, because and I'm open and honest this morning is as an integrator, I know my customer will invest the same amount. I'm not, it's just, instead of investing in one big project, it will invest in many smaller projects, and it's a win-win. It's a win for him because he can retrieve the ROI easier and go through rapid evolution, while for us, it's just smaller pieces that are easier to digest and put forward. So that's a win-win-win situation. Win for the cloud, win for software, win for Creatio as a software editor, and win for everyone. So that's low code. So again, I have 10 minutes left, so I need to go. I'm passionate about low code, so I need to stop. But that's definitely the way to go. So if you don't know what low code is, you will into let's see. And just to conclude, so define strategy to learn and be agile. So agility is not only something around software development, it's agility is the ability of the business to respond to the market and their customer needs. So when they say make everyone a developer, it means you don't need to be a developer. Everyone can do some adaptation to the CRM. So we know in the US there's a miss or there's a lack of about 200,000 developer. So company and software provider reacted to that. So you don't need a developer in order to do what you want to do in your CRM. Second is swiftly create custom solutions. So we talked about it. So I'm going in, tick, 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 test you think, okay, perfect, ready, see it in production. So the whole cycle is shortened. Change process first. So business people and business can drive the different changes. So it doesn't have to be an IT initiatives. So everyone becomes a developer or an IT specialist-ish, or reduce the silos because we can work all in the same platform, because we can functionally deploy a lot of things before on the marketing side and after on more the financial side and the financial system wise. And 5, we boost the user adoption. So this means that it's easier for the customer, it's easier for the reps, it's easier for the users, the call center, the people that actually work in CRM and work with the local platform. It's just, and when user adoption, when you do well your change management, you communicate the vision of why you're doing things to the users. Adoption comes when you have, and when you're agile, and then the magic happens. And everything that we just see today it's actually becoming a fact. So perfect.
Great. Thanks a lot, Sebastian. So I think now we just want to go into specifically Creatio's low-code platform for CRM and business process management.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So at Creatio, what we believe in is we are aiming to create a world where everyone can automate business ideas in minutes. So we provide very easy to use low-code solutions that allow even business users with no technical training or coding experience with the ability to create and update applications and business processes on their own without the need to go through IT. So I'll go a little bit deeper into that as we go through the presentation. But really, this is what we consider what we call the 3 main superpowers of what we provide at Creatio. So first, as we've mentioned, we provide an underlying low-code software platform that enables citizen development. So the problem we see in the industry is usually anytime an organization wants to create an application or business process or make an update to an existing process, they usually have to bring in someone from IT, and IT teams are often underfunded, understaffed, and dealing with a backlog of requests from the business. So what we have is, as I mentioned, very easy low-code tools that allow business users to go in and create applications and processes and make updates to applications and processes in a matter of minutes, as opposed to going through a highly expensive and cumbersome process of dealing with IT to go through those changes. So that allows you to keep TCO low by not having to bring in those expensive resources every time something needs to be done. And then on top of that underlying low-code platform, we have best-in-class solutions for business process management and CRM. So on the business process management side, this is where we're able to automate processes of any complexity. So in the insurance space, for example, that could be employee onboarding, marketing, sales, service processes, even things like claims management, as Sebastian mentioned previously. So the real goal here is this will allow us to drastically increase employee productivity and operational efficiency and really reduce the need to go through manual processes on a consistent basis. And then finally, as I mentioned, we provide a unified CRM for sales, marketing, and service. So this will allow your teams to have a true 360-degree view of your customer base, and instead of having to go into different systems and applications in order to handle customer requests or customer complaints that you might be dealing with, for example, on the service side, you'll have one platform that your entire organization is utilizing to ensure that customer experience is high and reduce the potential for customer churn ultimately. And then, as I mentioned previously, we've been acknowledged by many industry leaders like Gartner, many industry analysts like Gartner and Forrester. The next two slides really just speak to our vision and execution, which has allowed us to be named to 2 leader categories by Gartner. And then also, as you can see on both the Gartner and Forrester recognition, we've been noticed for our CRM, business process management, and low-code capabilities. So the fact that we've been named to numerous different waves and Magic Quadrants for different capabilities is a big reason why we differentiate from a lot of the other platforms in the market. And then just to go into a little bit of future-proofing your business's low-code CRM, these are some of the main value adds that we can bring utilizing our low-code CRM and BPM platform. So first is around cost reduction. So as I mentioned on the previous slide, this allows you to automate and regulate business processes to reduce operational costs by decreasing the amount of routine manual operations that your employees need to go through on a daily basis. So that will drastically reduce costs within your organization. We can also provide performance improvement. So with the help of CRM software, you can easily track the effectiveness of your employees, set specific KPIs that they should be graded against, and then delegate tasks, set deadlines, track progress, assign agents, and many other things of that nature. So this will allow you to easily track employee performance and improvement ultimately. And then a CRM will also provide increased loyalty amongst your customer base. So this will give you that true 360-degree view on each client, which will enable marketing, sales, and service teams to deliver truly personalized customer experiences, which will ultimately lead to increased customer loyalty and more sales for your organization. And then also this will result in an increased number of customers. So having loyal customers that will be promoting your organization, they will recommend your company to their friends and partners, and you're more likely to bring in a larger customer base. And then finally, the quality of service and product development and increased sales volume. So the CRM will provide service teams with access to all the information they need to effectively serve their customers, to provide better service and customer satisfaction rates. And the same thing for sales. You'll know your customers better and be able to increase the number of sales and customer loyalty at the same time. So I'll quickly go through the benefits of, I know we have a couple minutes here, the benefits of low-code CRM for your organization. So first is really around application delivery. So many other CRM platforms, if you're using an out-of-the-box CRM, for example, it will be manual coding processes and lengthy development times. Whereas with a low-code CRM, very easy drag and drop tools that business users can utilize that are visual and quick to launch. Solution scope with out-of-the-box CRM there's a lot of lack of configuration capabilities, and they're purpose built for very narrow use cases, as opposed to a low-code CRM, which is highly configurable and supports various processes and different industry use cases. In terms of maintenance, usually out-of-the-box CRM, very expensive to support, requires you bring in highly paid developers who are very familiar with the specific CRM platform, whereas low-code CRM, easy and quick to update and/or extend for even a business user. Integration out-of-the-box CRM, the integration process is usually time-consuming, expensive, and cumbersome, whereas with low-code CRM such as Creatio, it's a very fast and simple process with pre-built application connectors and easy-to-use connectivity processes. And then finally, from a lifecycle management perspective, usually multiple phases from an out-of-the-box CRM perspective, whereas low-code CRM, one-step, very simplified development process. So those are some of the main benefits of a low-code CRM. And then I'll go into this quickly. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but really to answer the question, what can low-code automate? Really anything, business processes of any complexity you might be dealing with. As you mentioned, it could be customer or employee onboarding. It could be the claims management process, sales, marketing, and service processes to provide better customer experiences. And you can extend those capabilities to any unit of the business, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen. So really low-code truly can automate any business process.
Absolutely. For insurance, underwriting is an example of thing. For sure, the underwriting process could be complicated, the underwriting itself, but that's very, very important in the sales process. So you go through an underwriting, so you need for them to work together. Onboarding, we mentioned the broker sales, the claim management, marketing, the customer center, customer care, so the agents that speak on the phone. So traditionally, they were on telecommunication platform or phone system platform. Not anymore. They're right into CRM. With local no code, that's a good example of what we can do for insurers.
Definitely, yeah. Sebastian mentioned it's a very customer-facing industry, so those are all processes that are very important. So I know we're up against it, but I'll go into a couple. We have a couple questions that we received during the course of the event, so we'll dive into a couple that we point out, and then we can wrap up from there. But the first question we received is it possible to integrate Creatio with existing client databases? The short answer is yes. That's certainly something you can do with Creatio. We have pre-built application connectors to a number of different databases and data sources, and we also have an open API that you can utilize to connect to a number of different databases. So it is certainly possible, and something we do for the vast majority of our clients, connecting to existing client databases. And I think the next question we got was, it says, Sebastian, could you give a real life example of the beneficial effect of the CRM application in insurance companies?
So an example will be, and we talked about it, so local. I think we talked about the claim. So let's talk about the underwriting. So if the application comes in, so either to a broker or to directly the insurance provider. So there's an underwriting process going on in line and working with the sales, right? So that's very important. If there's some indication that we should be offering different product to this potential customer, you want your underwriting to work with your sales process together. So that would be, a real life example of what we can do. So that's a good example.
So the next question here is, I can answer, is what kind of support do you provide for your products? So Creatio, and we're happy to certainly dive deeper into this with anyone who is interested. We provide a number of different support packages. So we have 3 packages. The first being basic support, which would be Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. depending on your time zone, and then all the way up to what we call premium support, which is 24/7 support. You'll have dedicated members of our team working with your organization. You can prioritize how cases are handled, for example. And in the middle of those 2 packages, we have a business support package, which is Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the SLAs are a little different based on which package you go with. But the short answer is we have 3 different support packages, and based on the level of support you need from our organization, based on what resources you have internally, for example, to handle the application, we can support a variety of different options, and we have a dedicated team that can work closely with you from a customer support perspective to ensure your implementation goes as smoothly as possible once you've been stood up with Creatio. And then I think we'll do one more. There's one more question for Sebastian. Sebastian, which processes would you recommend to automate in the first instance? Is the last question we have here.
First instance, the first one, claim. I have to pick only one here, so claim, but rapidly, broker sales, underwriting, full sales, customer service, the client onboarding. But definitely the claim process is very, very important, because this is where, for insurer, this is where this will be judged. So if it goes well, it goes forever, they could keep the customer. If it goes bad, doesn't go ahead. So this is your first judgment. So first time you're doing a claim, that will be a big influence in the churn rate.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough to pick only one, but I think claims is a good one if you have to. So yeah, thank you everyone for jumping on. I think before we jump off the call, just wanted to shout out, we do have from June 1st to June 14th, Creatio is hosting a low-code marathon, which will last 10 days. We'll have 50 plus speakers, and it'll be over 1,200 minutes of content. So this will allow your organization to learn how to build a successful digital first company. So this is an event we're going to be strongly promoting, and I think there are a number of sessions that will be relevant for most members of your organization. So we would certainly encourage you to attend this event coming up for IT and digital leaders. So we'll continue to promote this over the next month prior to the event, but this is something I would encourage anyone on the meeting today to sign up for. And then also just want to promote our podcasts at Creatio, our low code talks with Creatio podcast. So I encourage you to subscribe on any of the leading, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, some of the other ones you see below here. But this will give you another outlet to get some insightful conversations from our organization. So would certainly encourage you to sign up for our podcast as well. But once again, thank you all very much for your time. If there is interest in learning more about Creatio and solution metrics, I encourage you to reach out, and we'd be happy to have a further and deeper discussion. But thanks for all your time. Thank you very much, Sebastian, as well, for being on with us. And everyone, thanks, and have a great rest of your day.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.